Hey, what's up, guys? I thought I'd share some thoughts about being a professional musician. I've been a professional musician for about 15 years, and it's pretty much all I've ever done as a profession. And I've had some people ask me, how do I do it and what's involved in it. So I'm just going to kind of highlight a few aspects that I think are pretty integral to living as a musician and keeping it going. The first thing, and I would say this is probably the most important aspect, is your love of playing music. And it kind of has to get to a point where it's all that you want to do. If you have any question in your mind, or if you have, an option to do something else that you're thinking about maybe doing, I would recommend doing that other thing, whatever profession that might be, and just keep music in your life. You'll hear this from a lot of really great musicians, some of whom I've studied with, and their answer is to anyone that asks, should I be a professional musician? The answer is basically always if you have to. If it's something that you just have to do, and you just know in your heart that this is totally for you and there's no other path in life that's right for you. But that's not to say you can't just continue playing music. You can certainly still play gigs and practice and rehearse and do all the things that most professional musicians do, and just have another job that you go to during the day. Yeah, so that would be the first thing, is just your love of doing the music, playing the music, learning music, and because it's really difficult to be a professional musician. And so if you're not totally 100% committed to playing music professionally, full time that is, then it's going to be probably impossible for you to live and continue in your entire life as a professional musician. So an aspect of that, kind of transitioning into another aspect, is having different revenue streams. And this is where you kind of have to figure out what is right for you. So there's everything from teaching, gigging, and selling stuff online, doing studio work. There's kind of many different ways that you can live as a professional musician. And like I said, you kind of have to figure out for yourself what is right for you. Most musicians these days that I know of, and even musicians that I admire and are at the highest level, most musicians teach in addition to recording and playing gigs and doing lots of other things. So with teaching, there's kind of different ways that can go. I mean, you can do private one-on-one lessons, you can do group lessons, you can teach classes, you can do clinics, you could do online lessons. So there's many aspects even within that category that you can get yourself involved with. And then with gigging, you really have to decide, again, what's right for you. Some musicians are cool with playing cover songs. That's never been something that I've been drawn to, and I know it would be something that would bring in more income if I did allow myself to be in cover bands. So yeah, you kind of have to figure that out for yourself. Like, what kind of musician are you? Personally, I play jazz, which that's, as close as I get to playing in cover bands. But as anybody knows, jazz, 90 some odd percent of it is improvised. And even when we do play the tune, the compositional part, there's even improvisation within that. So it's very expressive from an artistic standpoint. And then I do my original music. And the jazz music that I play definitely helps to play more professionally, to play more gigs, basically. And Yeah, so figuring that out for yourself. What kind of musician, gigging musician do you want to be? And there are musicians that just teach. That does exist. I mean, I honestly think that if you're going to be a music teacher, that the information that you're sharing should come from a place of real experience of playing music with other people and in front of people. There's just so many aspects of developing yourself as a musician that you can only get from those experiences. And all the people I've ever studied with, that's where they come from. They come from being practitioners and performers and recording artists. So with all of that stuff, whether it's teaching or gigging or studio work, this is kind of another really big aspect, which is having a good attitude and working well with other people. A really important part of being a professional musician is working with other people and developing relationships with people. So having a good attitude and just working well with other people is so important. I mean, that's going to be key to you doing so many aspects of playing and teaching music. So I would just say, try to be as professional as you can, showing up on time, responding in a timely manner to messages. When you commit to doing something, stay committed to it. Don't take another offer. Or if you do take another offer, be sure to have a sub in place for, say, if it's a gig that you're bailing out on to do a different gig or a different event or whatever it may be, to have somebody that can fill in for you, because otherwise you start developing a reputation as being unreliable, and over time that spreads, and then you don't get hired as much as you would if you were to just be more professional about it. So those are kind of three big topics, or big aspects, I should say, of being a professional musician. One is 100% committed because of your love of the music, and then having different revenue streams and figuring out for yourself what is right for you, and then having a good attitude and working well with people. So, and then as I listed, there's many aspects to each one of those kind of bigger topics, but those three right there, I think if you get those three really dialed in, the first part, like I said, the love of the music and knowing this is definitely for you and there is no other path. If that's already set and you figure that out for yourself, then really it's just a matter of just staying with it, being persistent, and realizing also that there's going to be ebb and flow of income and work. And that's something that can get to people pretty in a kind of depressing way, actually. Some people will actually stop playing music because of that aspect of, the slower times when work isn't as great as it could be. Those are the moments that you have to just stay committed and think of those times as times to work on your craft more and develop maybe your website, or just to kind of work on other things to spend that time, that downtime, in a productive way. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful for you to consider and think about, and I'll talk to you in the next lesson.